it's your girl Tara coming at you from thecraftsergeant.com, and thanks for joining me for another video tutorial. So I know it's been a hot minute, but guess what? Welcome to another episode of Casing Tuesday. Yes. So basically Casing Tuesday is a fun challenge group on Facebook that I'm a part of. And so if you've been following my series, I know I have been a little MIA lately just because with everything that's going on. But I have finally found time to kind of dive right back into it. So I'm really excited to share with you guys a really pretty project today that I created. And so basically how this works is every single week there's a sample card that's taken from one of our Stampin' Up! Catalogs, and it's converted into a sketch. And so in order to play along, all you have to do is make the card as shown, or you can put your own flair to it. So I love this because it showcases how you can use Stampin' Up's catalogs as a great resource for inspiration. It also shows you how using a sketch can get your creative juices flowing. And so there's so much inspiration on the Facebook group. There's a lot of people, it's actually growing. And there's a lot of inspiration that others are sharing. So it's a great resource to pull different kinds of card ideas using the layouts that are chosen for that week. Another awesome thing is that you get to see others' perspectives on the design. And so like I said, you can put your own flair to it. You don't have to stick with the sketch. And so that's kind of like what I like to do. I like to challenge myself and step outside of the box and use the sketch as a guide. And for some reason, I always tend to come up with something different, which is a lot of fun. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my take on this week's sketch. And so here is the beautiful card that I created. Isn't that cute? And it's using one of my favorite stamp sets that I actually finally got off of my wish list. And sadly, it is retiring. It's called Birthday Goodness, as you can see here. So it's a really fun set, great for birthdays. But let me show you guys where I pulled this sketch from, okay? So this week's sketch is sketch number 243. And it can be found on page 44 of the mini catalog. And it's this really cute Easter card here. And usually what I like to do is I like to kind of give you guys like a close-up look on this. So if you notice, there's an embossed background. There are two circle die cuts. Okay, there's the sentiment here. There's some embellishment going on and some ribbon. And then, of course, there is an image stamped on this bigger circle here. And so what I did, like I told you guys, this is a great way to get inspired and create something different. I used the same concept. However, instead of using a circle in the background, I actually used one of the Stitch So Sweetly dies to create this really fun border. And let's see here, what else did I do? I also, instead of stamping straight onto that die cut piece, I actually stamped on a separate sheet of cardstock and cut this little guy out by hand. So I'm going to share with you guys how I created this really pretty card. I have a few birthdays that are coming up, so I'm going to be sending these cards out to someone special, so can't wait for them to get them. So with that being said, stick around because I'm going to show you guys step by step on how to recreate this really beautiful card with this awesome stamp set. So stay tuned. All right, so starting out, you cannot create this card without the awesome stamp set like I mentioned earlier. It's called Birthday Goodness. It can be found in our annual catalog, and like I said, it is on the retirement list, okay? So that means it will no longer be available after the new catalog goes live in June. So sad, but this little guy right here is going to stay in my stash because I really love it. I love the fonts. We have Hope Your Birthday is Filled with Goodness. Yay, make a wish, wishing you heaps of happiness. I love that because it kind of plays on the images that are in the stamp set, and it has a happy birthday. I love the streamer and I love the images. Of course, you guys know I am a really big fan of Stampin' Blends, my alcohol markers. So this set is just beautiful to me. Now, I do want to share with you guys, I know I'm kind of going off script a little bit, but this is a card that I created using this stamp set too, where it combines all of the streamer image and the stacked donuts here. So this is one that I created for my Facebook Live this past Sunday. So if you guys are interested in checking that video out, be sure to head over to my Facebook page. And I do what's called Stampin' Sundays every single Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so there's always great card ideas and stuff that I give you guys over there. But anyways, all right, so that's my plug. Back to this card. But I am telling you guys, I just got this set and I'm really sad that it's going. So I am trying to play with it as much as possible. So you guys will probably be seeing quite a few projects with this with this stamp set. But like I said, it's gonna stay in my stash. It's a great standalone set. The only thing is there are no coordinating dies. So in order to get the images out, you have to cut them out, unfortunately. So there's that. All right, so let's set that to the side. Now that we know what kind of stamp set we're going to use, let's talk about cardstock. So I have a piece of, that's my printer in the background. But I have a piece of Thick Whisper White. This is my standard A2 size card. I have a piece of Balmy Blue, and this is actually in dry embossed with my Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder. This is actually carrying over into the next catalog, so that's exciting. So I get more use out of this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really, really gorgeous detail, as you guys can see right here. I mentioned earlier also that I am using the Stitched So Sweetly dies. This is what they look like. And I'm using the second size, the second one in the stack. So that's how I got this little scalloped rectangle. And then I have a piece of Scrap Whisper White and Basic Black. And this is to punch out my circle for my sentiment and for my my image that I'm going to be stamping. All right, so let's set this stuff to the side. And for inks, oh, I got a lot of stuff over here. All right, so for the main ink, I am using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and that is because I'm doing my Stampin' Blend coloring. So you guys know this is a great ink to color with alcohol markers. I'm also using my Versamark because I'm going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing on this card for my sentiment. For my blends, I'm using the following combos. I have, and they're all out of order. I know this is probably going to bother some of you guys if it's not in order. But I have the following combos. I have Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, Balmy Blue, Crumb Cake, and I have my Smoky Slate. And of course, I'll be using my color lifter, and you can't have a birthday card without sparkle. In my opinion. So I have my Wink of Stella here. Y'all know I love this pen too, along with my blends, y'all. All right, I'm also using my 2-inch circle punch that I'm going to punch my circle out with. And then I have my metallic thread. Now this silver metallic thread and the rose gold are retiring. These are not going to be in the new catalog that's coming in June. So just FYI, if you didn't know. So I'll be using that. And I'm going to show you guys a fun technique with how you can color this thread, which is, I just figured it out today as I was creating this project. And then last but not least, of course, we're doing our embossing. So you're going to need your embossing buddy and your white powder. So I know that was like a lot to kind of take in. But let's go ahead and get into stamping our project. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start by assembling our card. All right, so I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to burnish down that crease line. And I am going to go ahead and use some of my liquid adhesive. I have some of my liquid Tombow glue. Hopefully this one works. I've been going through a lot of glue lately. Nope, that one doesn't work. There we go. There's the full one. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this little guy down. Now, one thing about embossed cardstock is you want to make sure you get kind of like, you don't need a lot of glue, but you want to get inside of those little nooks and crannies so that way it doesn't bubble up on you. And so I'm going to just go ahead and apply this piece down onto my cardstock card base, just like that. Boom, there we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and do our stamping. So I'm going to take first my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I am going to take my already mounted stamp, and I'm gonna, since this is kind of a bigger stamp, I'm gonna take the ink to the stamp versus the stamp to the ink. And then I'm gonna just stamp this little guy down just like this onto my piece of Whisper White. Perfect. All right, so let's sit that to the side. I'm looking for my top. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and we are going to emboss our image. So I'm going to take my piece of basic black and my embossing buddy. So this little guy treats your cardstock so that way you don't get powder where you don't want it. It prevents that static. All right, so then we're gonna just go ahead and ink up our sentiment. I know it's upside down. I'll flip it around. So we're gonna go this, and I want to stamp my image first, or my sentiment first, because then I'm gonna punch it out. I found it easier to do it that way, but you can do it any order you want. It's all up to you. All right, I'm trying to find my little spoon. It keeps falling inside of my little container. But I'm going to take my spoon and we're going to coat our sentiment in the embossing powder just like this. I'm going to tap off that excess, kind of do like a thorough look over just to make sure we got this stuff all where we want it. Now, I will tell you guys, there's a little bit in the center, so I'm going to take my little paintbrush. Hopefully I don't mess this up too bad. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay. There we go. So we're going to close this up so we don't make a mess. Sit that off to the side as well. And we're going to go ahead and heat our image up and melt that powder onto our cardstock, okay? So we're going to run this a little bit, let it heat up. That's perfect, and you'll know that it's set because the powder is melted and it will turn shiny. So I don't know if you guys can see the shininess on this little guy. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and punch this little dude out. So I'm gonna take my circle punch, line it up, and punch it out. So I did that first because it's faster. All right, now what we're gonna do is we are going to sit our sentiment to the side and we are going to color our image. So for the sake of time on this video, I am going to fast forward my coloring, but I am going to show you guys what I'm doing before I start. So I am coloring my macaroons in Crumb Cake, both dark and light. I'm going in and alternating the colors where I want the Balmy Blue and the Flirty Flamingo for the centers of those macaroons. And then my flowers, of course, are Poppy Parade. The stand or the base is going to be Smoky Slate. And I'm going to go over in the centers of this image, in parts of the image, just to lighten it up with my color lifter, okay? So just in case you're wondering what I'm doing and I'm not talking and I'm fast forwarding, you guys kind of understand what I'm doing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started and I will talk to you guys soon. right, so there we go. There's our beautiful image. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to take our paper snips and we're gonna cut this little image out of our Whisper White. All right, so there is our image all colored and cut out. So now I am going to take my lights pool party. I meant to mention this earlier. I used my light pool party on this card as well. And what I did, you can either use the light pool party ink and sponge, or use a sponge dauber to create a haloed background behind your image. But I'm going to just use my my marker, and I'm just going to lightly color the backside of this little guy. Okay, so it looks just like that. So no like rhyme or reason, I'm just coloring behind it to kind of give it like a haloed look behind it. All right, so now let's go ahead and assemble the rest of our card. And so I'm going to flip this little guy over, add some dimensionals. Just like that. And we're going to stick this little guy right off to the side, like closer to the right, so it's not completely centered. And then we're going to take our macaroons, and we are going to pop this little guy right on up. So I'm putting quite a few of these little guys on here to make sure it stays stuck down. Just like that. I'm going to stick this little guy up just like this, right onto that Whisper White die cut, just like that. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how you can get more variety out of your metallic thread. So what I did was I went ahead and measured out however much thread I'm going to need on my card. And I usually wrap it around my 4 fingers about 3 or 4 times. Just like that. And then I snip it. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper. See, as you can see, I did it on this one earlier. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to take my Poppy Parade. So I don't know if you guys saw, but my linen thread, or excuse me, not my linen thread, but my metallic thread is actually colored. Do y'all see that? Let's see. Yes. So I can't say that I'm the first one to invent this like little thing, but it's a thing. I just realized it today that you can do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blend marker, and I'm just going to see if I can get it to touch right. There we go. And I'm just going to pull my thread through the marker brush tip, just like that. And what it's doing is it's coloring my thread. So as you can see, y'all see, it's no longer silver. Isn't that cool? It works wonderful on rhinestones and pearls as well. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap this little guy right around my hand about 3 times again. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my Snell adhesive. And we're gonna stick this little guy like right, oh, I didn't put that down far enough. We're just gonna put a little bit of adhesive down just so we can hold our metallic thread in place just until we can get our sentiment circle on here. All right, so now I'm going to take a few more dimensionals. And some adhesive, and then I'm gonna just pop this little guy right on over on top of my card, but I'm gonna push it behind my macaroons. Oh, it would help if I took the backing off of the dimensional. Make sure I have my thread the way I want it behind there, peeking through. And then we're just gonna stick this little guy down just like that. And there you go. Isn't that cool? Such a beautiful card. All right, so here's a final look at our pretty cards. Oh my goodness, I am so in love. And if you wanted to add some more bling to it, you could throw some little rhinestones on here and it will do just fine. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's projects just as much as I did creating them. And if so, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. I've included links for all of the supplies that you saw used on today's projects down below in the description box. I'll also include the link for the challenge group on Facebook as well, so that way you can head over there and play too. All right, so if you guys like my videos and want to continue to see more like it along with more project inspiration and tutorials, be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to my channel. And if you want updates on my upcoming classes and events and receive project inspiration, be sure to sign up for my newsletter, which is also linked down below. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you for now. So see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.